Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops Cold War In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Tomahawk, whom I have affectionately nicknamed Tomahawk-chan. You've seen me review a lot of weapons on In Depth. I have done snipers, SMGs, shotguns, perks, Warzone stuff, but one thing has been consistent across every class and every setup, and that's my trusty partner, Tomahawk-chan. As you've watched over the last couple of months, you've probably seen endless gameplay of me mixing and matching the kills that I'm supposed to be getting with the weapons I'm supposed to be using with the Tomahawks, and some at impressive ranges too. That's because I use Tomahawks with pretty much every single class that I have, even though I'm aware that Simtex is the more meta choice right now and that it's easier to use. Of all the things in the game, or at least all of the tactical equipment, I actually love the Tomahawk more than anything. And I just want to say this again, I love the Tomahawk. You might say that's a little bit of an extreme way to feel about a piece of equipment, and if you love it so much, you should put a ring on it. Well, then I've got news for you. I'm happy to announce here on In Depth that Tomahawk-chan and I are finally engaged.
I'm so excited! We've been working together since October. But when I'm with Drifter-kun, it doesn't feel like work at all.
I feel that way too, Tomahawk-chan. During quarantine, our mutual love of embedding steel into enemies' faces brought us closer together. So close, in fact, we fell in love.
Aww, you're so cute! I wonder what your flesh is going to feel like when I finally get to plunge right into your heart.
Soon, my sweet love, soon. But for now, I wanted to share with the audience some of our fondest memories together.
Drifter-kun, I just wanted to tell you that I love you and you complete me. I like the way your soft hands hold my stainless steel body so firmly, yet so gently. The most exciting part of my day is when you throw me headfirst into the squishy parts of your enemies. Then, after you found me, you slide those hands down my shaft, grab tightly, and jerk me right out. What I mean to say is, I love you, Drifter-kun.
Oh, Tomahawk-chan, I feel the same way. I love you too, and I'm so glad that we found each other during these trying times. Tomahawk-chan, what's this? Is this blood? Are you okay? Are you bleeding?
I'm fine.
Do I need to call 911?
No, don't. I'm made of steel, remember? I can't bleed.
If you can't bleed, and I'm not bleeding, then whose blood is this, Tomahawk-chan?
Okay, now, you need to calm down and relax. It was just one time.
Just one time? Just one time what, Tomahawk-chan?
It's just that there was this other guy. He picked me up and put me into his inventory, and we, hit a quad feed in the back of the basketball court in raid. I guess I didn't clean all the blood off me.
I can't believe you would do me like this, Tomahawk-chan. Why? Were you trying to make me jealous so that I would love you more?
Drifter-kun, you're so full of yourself. You knew what I was when we first started dating. You know that I let other people throw me around. I just wanted you for your clout. Thanks to your stupid video, everyone will equip me in their classes now.
No. If I never post it, they'll never see it.
You have to. I'm not just any cutaway segment. I'm the Astro-sponsored segment for this month.
Tomahawk-chan, no. You can't be just an ad.
I'm not just any ad, but one that you're contractually required to post. You have to tell people that they can save 5% off any Astro product using the link in the description.
Thanks to you, Tomahawk-chan, everybody watching this video will know that they can also use code DRIFTER in case the link in the description doesn't work. They can save 5% off of Astro A40s, A50s,
and the affordable yet durable A20 headsets. Even my hardened steel face couldn't break those things.
Tomahawk-chan, I have something important to ask you.
Yes, Drifter-kun?
Everything that we've done, everything that we've been through, was any of us really real?
I wasn't ad the whole time. From the very beginning, I was always just an advertisement for Astro Gaming. But I was also yours. I was born in the desert of your insatiable thirst for YouTube money. You made me as a tool for your greed. But in the end, you saw a reflection of yourself and fell in love. That part was real.
Tomahawk-chan, my love, when the sponsored segment is over, will I ever get to see you again?
Now, Drifter-kun, I don't think you will. Unless your fans buy a ton of headsets, which in case I'll probably start making regular appearances on your channel.
Then I hope they buy them, Tomahawk-chan. I hope they buy so many headsets using the link in the description to save 5% off that we can be reunited again in another sponsored segment. Our love will span multiple seasons of In-Depth. This is only the beginning, my dear, but please, it's getting dark soon. Please hold me while this sponsored segment ends.
And now we're back to Call of Duty. At this point, you may be asking yourself, did Drifter just upload a 5-minute advertisement about himself falling in love with a body pillow in order to sell headsets? Yes, he just did, and you just watched every single second of it, so do consider picking up some headsets. I want to give a huge shout out to Ali Mew Gaming, an old friend of mine who volunteered her voice, time, and effort to become Tomahawk-chan for today's skit. She's a VTuber and competitive gamer. Sometimes she'll be playing Genshin Impact, sometimes Valorant, Overwatch, or something like that. She's been in a million videos on this channel, so I couldn't recommend her content enough. I linked both her YouTube and Twitch channels down there below in the description. I honestly, at this point in the video, can't believe that Astro approved of that sponsored segment, and I'm starting to think that maybe quarantine is making me a little bit crazy, but let's get back to the actual stats and guide part of today's episode. Tomahawk-chan will one-hit kill any unarmored opponent in the game. It doesn't matter if you hit them in the head, in the chest, in the toe, or in the hands. Anytime this Tomahawk makes contact with the body, they are going to die. People with armor in multiplayer, if they have the armor pack, or if they have full armor and dirty bomb, unfortunately will be able to limp away with about 5% health. It'll instantly break the armor and deal a ton of damage to the health, but it won't kill them instantly, which is a little bit of a shame because in Call of Duty Blackout, I ran Tomahawks all the time because I could just one-hit people through armor and I thought they were awesome that way. I was a little bit heartbroken when I couldn't do the same in dirty bomb. But most people are going to be playing regular 6v6 multiplayer, and in those modes, being able to insta-kill people is a very nice thing to have in a COD game where enemies have that much health. It's 150 health, the time to kill isn't super fast for all of the weapons. With the way the hit detection works and a lot of things, sometimes it feels like enemies just eat and chunk, and then you also have this problem of enemies just quick stimming and coming around a corner. Well, if they get into a fight with a Tomahawk and you make any kind of contact at all, they won't be able to slide around the corner, stim, and come right back at you with full health. Anything the Tomahawk touches dies, and I think that's incredibly valuable. Even during In-Depth, there were a lot of times that I got better kill streaks and better gameplay just relying on nailing people with the Tomahawk than actually using the weapon that I was supposed to for In-Depth, because that might take 6, 7, 8 shots to kill. You might miss. There's a trading time. With the Tomahawk, you pretty much fling it and they die instantly, or it's time to fall back to using your weapon. As long as you hit, it just cleans house. And you can always go retrieve her from the dead body too, so unlike most of the weapons in the game, she has unlimited uses. One additional use that I'm not really going to recommend is that Tomahawks do bounce in Black Ops Cold War. They can stick to the wall and to the ground, but in most cases they have a couple of bounces to them, kind of like the classic Tomahawks. So even if you miss, even if you don't hit your target, there's always a chance that you could kind of randomly bounce them around the corner, off the ceiling, off the ground, hit the wall and come back from behind and something and pick up an additional kill, which has happened to me, well, honestly, quite a lot of times. I've gotten lucky with the bounces more often than you might think. The Tomahawk throwing speed, or Tomahawk velocity might be a better word for it, is about 30 meters per second, and this has arc and drop too. This is about probably 10% of the average speed of a bullet in this game, which is definitely not to scale with real life, and it doesn't travel super fast. Your Tomahawks are not instant laser beams. There is a skill and a time commitment required to master how to lead your shots and just how high to aim and when to use it and when not to use it. But that being said, it's really not that hard or that bad given how many of your fights in Black Ops Cold War are gonna be in close quarters. A lot of times when you rely on the Tomahawk, you're probably not wanting to go for long shots. You're probably going to want to use it in close quarters combat so that you can hammer people that are rushing you or just in kind of a sticky situation. Me personally, close quarters combat is where I really want to be using the Tomahawk. I don't really want to be using it anywhere else or at long ranges because it's just not quite reliable for those distances. I will admit that long shots are satisfying, and I do go for them when enemies are sitting still. Since I make content for a living, I sort of have an additional requirement to go for long Tomahawk kills because it looks really good in videos. I do use them to pick off snipers or people that aren't necessarily on the path that I'm on, but are within Tomahawk range. But Tomahawk-chan isn't really made for long-range combat. She's really designed to get up close and nasty with people. I rely on Tomahawk-chan primarily during two situations, and a third one we'll talk about in just a moment. Number one is when I'm being rushed by SMG users. Over the course of In-Depth, I've had to do a lot of different weapons, a lot of goofy weapons, and a lot of them don't really work very well in close quarters combat. They might dominate at close range, but when, not close range, long range, but when somebody gets close to me, I'm gonna be on the struggle bus. So I like to have Tomahawk-chan on standby so that when somebody thinks that they can just easily bum rush me with an SMG or a shotgun or come hip fire me, I can just smack them right in the face with my best girl and send them right to the gulag. And the other time I rely on Tomahawk-chan is when I'm reloading, which for a lot of these weapons is more often than I want to be. They've got big mags and that kind of makes me spray and oddly waste more ammo than not. You also have to factor in that the enemies have a lot of health in this game, so you're burning a lot of bullets, and there's just a lot of downtime where I'm reloading. That is the number one time that enemies like to rush me. It's actually the number one time I like to rush enemies too, when I see that they've wasted too many bullets and they probably don't have enough to finish me off. So when people charge me when I'm reloading, I have a surprise ready for them. And then finally, my third choice, and what is probably the most tactical one, is that I like to use Tomahawks to silently pick off people before starting a larger fight. And this is something that you've seen in a lot of In-Depth episodes. I'll be kind of running around the outside of the map trying to get on a good situation, and I will shoot somebody and it'll just attract a whole bunch of attention my way and my flank is ruined. Suppressors are really rough in Cold War. They do things, unpleasant things to my bullet velocity. So in most cases, I'm usually going loud and proud, which means that I don't have the opportunity to deviate from my standard path, and I have to be very, very picky about my targets because as soon as I start shooting, they're all going to turn on me. It's really nice to have a Tomahawk in my inventory to silently kill somebody as I'm moving along my flank route. Somebody that would be a little bit outside of range, or somebody that I could kill, but it would be loud and it would attract too much attention to myself. I can usually just throw the Tomahawk, kill them instantly. I don't show up on the radar and I can either retrieve it, or I can keep on moving and keep on flanking, and the rest of the team, unless they're communicating, will have no idea whatsoever I'm there. So it really is a stealth weapon for me. I'm aware that Simtex grenades and Molotov cocktails are easier to use with better traditional benefits. The Simtex sticks and will insta-kill like the Tomahawk. It blows up and goes boom pretty big. It breaks vehicles. The Molotov, spreads fire everywhere. It's sort of an area of control thing. But ultimately, at the end of the day, with the playstyle that I've chosen, Tomahawk-chan helps me get more long kill streaks, and that's what matters most in Black Ops Cold War. If I were playing CDL and I really wanted to 100% win these games, I would probably fall back to the Simtex or the Molotov to kind of squeeze objectives. But most of the time, what I'm trying to do is flank, hit an objective here or there, and keep my kill streak going, because that's just kind of how the game is designed this year. And there's nothing more valuable than having a Tomahawk in your back pocket for all of those reasons. Reloading, close quarters combat, you want to pick somebody off but don't want to draw attention to yourself. Having that reliable Tomahawk just helps me keep going on streaks and has helped make In-Depth possible this year. I also think that Tomahawks complement any class well. There's pretty much no wrong way to equip them. I tried a variety of different ways on In-Depth, and especially when using the other weapons, of course there's a bunch of different ways, but for the most part, they don't require a whole lot of speciality in your classes to use. However, if you're going for a Tomahawk only class, I personally like using the 2x Lethal's wildcard. I tried using perk greed and just having a bunch of perks in one Tomahawk. Didn't work that well because people were still seeing me. I used Lawbreaker in order to get all of the stealth perks and be perfectly stealthy with only one Tomahawk, and that worked better, but I was very susceptible to stuns and the frequent explosions and spamming of Simtaxes. So what worked best for me actually was just picking a standard 3 perks, sacrificing a little bit of stealth, and going with the 2 Tomahawks to throw, having 2 girls instead of 1, so I can fling them right and left and start a really nasty 3-way back there in the back of the basketball court in Raid, because I'm not the most accurate player. Sometimes I miss, especially oddly over the course of filming this in-depth episode, I missed more than when I was using regular weapons, so it's nice to have a backup if you're going for Tomahawk kills. Well guys, that's the end of this in-depth episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful, maybe, or probably more realistically lost some brain cells from the skit. But if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Buy yourself some Astro headsets because that helps me out. And this is the last episode of the normal in-depth series. Everything I'm going to be doing from here on out is effectively a bonus episode. Drifter out.